I do think that consumers will continue to think about health and wellness in a way that the trends have been there for 20 years, but COVID is a health and wellness related issue. And so it is now going to be top of mind for people in the near term, their own lives, their health, their longevity. A lot of people were affected. They saw friends and family members impacted. And so I think they will continue to look for things that better their immune system, improve their health, and take care of their families. I don't think people are willing to trade off on those things given uh, the health concerns they all saw with COVID. Sustainability is really tied into health and wellness. Um, and so I think people are realizing that if you're doing things that are unsustainable, they have health and wellness consequences for yourself and your children from pollution and other such side effects.
Hmm.
And foremost, digital merchandising has to improve. I mean, a few images isn't going to be enough. You used to see on the shelf or used to be able to get out of, say, demo sampling at the store, right? A lot of that has been eliminated, and it may or may not come back. And if it does come back, it'll be on a much reduced level. So, how can you digitally get taste and texture and crunch across to the consumer in a way that they can understand that your product is different or your product has these attributes that usually in the past people had to touch and feel, and a single product and hoping that your packaging pulls it off the shelf isn't going to cut it when on the digital shelf there will be millions of products. So I really feel like you're going to have to look at um, the way every brand, every company is going to have to look at the way that they share their products out. I think that's where a lot of the new innovation will come from, right? I think there will need to be new ways of product sampling through the Blue Aprons or Sun Baskets of the world. I think there will be companies built entirely on getting samples out to consumers of certain demographics, right? Instead of getting it at the store, you might have a sampling program with 10 other brands. There will be other products, other ways of testing or tasting products, right? Like the snack nations of the world. Um, and so there might be partnerships between brands and kitting between different products that make sense, that allow people to try new things. But I really think this is one of the big unknowns, right? How do you reach consumers outside of the store? I think so many purchase decisions are made on the shelf. What are those new drivers? What are those new purchase decisions if less and less people will be able to pull it from the physical shelf, right? So I think in this industry, most people want to improve the structural imbalances and be part of bettering society and I think that's why a lot of us are in this ecosystem. And so I think for larger brands, it's a lot more difficult to change your marketing that's been going on for 100 years for a brand. I think it's very hard to change your supply chain that's been going on for your brands that have been around for decades. One of the things that we are looking at to do is to find ways to support minority and Black-owned businesses by including them in our supply chain. So I hope that everyone is going out there to make an impact, but small brands can do this faster and better than the large brands, and that's where they've won in the past anyway. That's how they've been able to innovate. That's how they've been able to create. That's how they've been able to launch in digital and get into store shelves when larger brands have owned that space. And so I think this is an area where small brands should really come out and make an impact. World of merchandising is the first. Improve your digital shelf. I think shifting your strategy to where the consumer shops, right? So everyone should be reevaluating their omni-channel strategy. If you used to be purely a brick and mortar brand, you're going to have to go digital. If you were a digital brand, there's going to be a lot more competition in the digital world. So how are you going to differentiate yourself? I also think people need to be ready for the next pandemic. How do you make sure your consumers and customers still get the products they want? How do you make sure that your products are safe and that you have a continuity of supply? So I think